Okay, this is a supplemental video to the one that I previously made. Now, in that one, I said that I was having difficulty with MIDI note messages, with notes kind of hanging over and so on and so forth. And so let me just remind you where we were from the previous video. This is just a single sound project with the operator in Ableton. So you get the idea, that's where we left off. So the main things that I was sort of trying to guard against these overhanging notes was via things like the use of the MIDI all notes off and so on. And also when sending the messages, I've got a MIDI note on down here, and then I also then have a corresponding MIDI note off. Now, I had a look, again, back in the documentation, you should always do that, and something that had escaped me, or maybe I'd not really seen it or quite sort of understood its implications. So instead of using MIDI note on, MIDI note off, managing those kinds of resources, there's also another command, which is the one here which says MIDI. It's very simple, right? Define the note, define the sustain. So ideally, sustain, the note will last for as long as you want it to last for, which means that it sends a corresponding note off once the sustain value has been reached. You have a velocity expressed as a fraction, and then a channel 1, and then of course a port. So most everything else sort of remains pretty much the same. You can change the velocity from the fractions to just using the MIDI note number values, and we'll have a look at that one in a second. So 0.5 puts it roughly in the middle. So let's say it's 0.8. And so I'm just going to, it's just going to play one note. So a combined sustain gives you the note for a particular duration and then sends a corresponding note off once the sustain value has been reached. So that's actually a much more sort of straightforward way of kind of doing it. So let's try the velocity as a MIDI note number. So let's say 100. So there are a number of ways that we can use this. And one of those is obviously that we can pretty much take this kind of message. I think I'm still going to use the MIDI all notes off just in case. So I'm going to change the MIDI to the value there. I'm going to code that one out. We have velocity, which is here. So I'm going to take the val, get rid of that bit. So this should work. I'm going to get rid of the, code out the MIDI note off. So the sustain, so our sleep values are 0.25. So the sustain value should be roughly equivalent to 0.25. So let's try that first of all, so that it's bang on exactly the same. I'm hoping that works. Okay, I'm going to change the sustains because they were a good deal shorter, but you can. So I've got this second operator. So that's just operator 1 here, the A. So this is B, which I've set at 0.5, so it's below operator A. It brings a nice little sub bass, sort of slightly fatter, sort of lower end that kind of creeps in. And again, you can control the sustain there. So if it's quite, so if you want a more of a just poking through. Now in the previous video we also had it with a few effects. Okay, so that seems to be a solution to the problem that I was experiencing, which is that actually to use Midi. So from now on, any other things that I'll be doing with Midi, we'll be using that. Okay, I hope you find that helpful, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.